It looks like the body of the Michelin Man, if you know what I mean, but without the head. We're the Groundhags, and this is our coffee reading podcast where we talk to artists about what they do on the daily and also their deepest, darkest secrets.
We're archiving the collective unconscious through our own bastardized version of the ancient art of coffee ground fortune-telling.
This podcast focuses on some interviews that we did with artists, but do not be fooled. It's part of the Groundhags multiverse, aka our archive, which also includes plenty of strangers who we met in bars and festivals,
in donut shops,
at the airport,
at the courthouse,
you name it. You can find it on our website via the link in this episode's description, or you can just come to our next gig to find out what's brewing on your mind.
We dare you.
Groundhags.
Dear listener, what have you been microdosing recently? Because amongst other things, we've been microdosing rage. Today we're talking about punk music, tantrums, and the body as machine.
Okay, we need to talk about rage rooms, because how have we justified paying to have a hissy fit in like an 8 square meter room with a personalized playlist and a bring your own breakables deal?
It really says a lot about our times.
So rage rooms started as a stress relief practice against the backdrop of the recession in Japan in 2008, and it's since become a very lucrative business that spread quickly all over the world. Anger has officially become a part of the wellness movement.
And what's most interesting is that a significant amount of people that use them are women. In Paris, for example, we're talking about 80%. The founder of Paris's Rage Room, David Lafranc, has commented on the gender imbalance, saying, quote, "We immediately realized that this wasn't a macho hobby. Get this. So we introduced pink helmets."
You can't see us, but we're deadpanning right now.
We're like so deadpanning
so
right now. And we hope you are too. And you know what he also says? For the feminist revolution, it would perhaps be better to break things in the street rather than in a room. But when you break things in the street, everybody has to pay for it. And by extension, if you break things in the rage room, you're just paying David.
So there's a long tradition of women's rage getting demonized. That's, of course, even more the case for women of color. Women who express or have expressed their anger publicly are not seen as strong, but often as hysterical or as aggressive, even when that anger stems from systemic inequality. So, for example, a 2015 study found that people reward angry men, but punish angry women. And rage rooms are capitalizing off of this fact. They offer a sanitized, for-profit and private way of living out anger that doesn't bleed into the real world at all. Rage rooms keep anger under control and they keep it isolated. Basically, they make anger an issue that needs to be solved privately rather than systemically. This is part of sort of a larger pattern that we noticed, which is that nowadays we often treat ourselves as an assemblage of hormones that needs to be optimized, which comes across in the language that we use to describe emotion, as often something that's quite mechanical. So we say things like letting off steam or social battery. We find that rage rooms are kind of a microcosm of this because they treat anger as something that has to be sort of drained from the body to get it back into peak productive state, sort of a modern mechanical form of bloodletting, if you will.
So we wanted to look at places where emotions are looked at differently, as something to be experienced, not something that needs to be drained, but something that can be channeled collectively. And we landed on the mosh pit. The lifeblood of punk music is political action, political change, so it makes sense that punk gigs are also spaces where emotions are lived out collectively. No one is holding a lecture about social justice. The call for change is an affective experience. It's basically a guided meditation by a band that allows you to give yourself over to your body and to let your emotions like anger or excitement move through you in unison with other people. In a culture that equates the experience of freedom as individualistic self-expression, the mosh pit is a really interesting alternative type of freedom that allows you to step outside your body, to experience the ecstasy of the crowd, and to lose self-control. It's an ego death of sorts, but at the same time that you're dissolving into a crowd, you can feel your body so intensely.
Today, we are speaking to the frontwoman and the songwriter of the band Bella and the Bizarre. They make music that's heavily punk-inspired, but traverses genres, drawing from everything from 60s garage rock to soul and surf. They released their first self-titled album in 2024, and they've since gone on tour. Bella's music plays really interestingly with chaos and control. She sort of pits them against each other and plays them as if they were an instrument. As a live performer and a dancer, she's got a really, really strong sense of bringing the body to the forefront of her music. And her songs are really physical experiences. They're filled with rhythmic changes and with shifts in tone. We wanted to talk to her because in the span of just one song, she manages to capture both the feeling of being in your body and breaking out of it, and she shows how both of these can be really cathartic experiences.
So yeah, I'm Bella the Bazaar. Real name Amabelle. And well, I started my band when I was a teenager in high school, and it's definitely become my main project. And also as a little girl, it was always my dream to be on stage and to perform and do my own songs. I was backup dancing for my dad and like singing a little bit with his band since I'm 5, actually.
Wow.
So I always felt really comfortable and really happy on stage, to be honest.
That's so cool. I was wondering, do you remember your first moment on stage? Because you said you spent like a large part of growing up like on stage.
Well, I remember it was sweet because so my dad has this 10-piece rock and roll psychedelic soul band, and they have like a lot of members. And at the very beginning, I was always like very in the back, like next to the percussionist. And then slowly over the years, I'd always come more into the front. And at some point, I'd be like next to my dad and dancing. And then I did one song of my dad's that he actually never performed himself because he's doing it in a falsetto voice. But I always did it in a lower voice than my dad. And then I always started that was my song, and I started always in the summer holidays. I'd go on tour with my dad and his band, and at some point my mom and my sister didn't want to join anymore, so it was like 10 guys and a little girl. Aww. And I felt so happy, and I'm very thankful for all the people I met, all the relationships I still have with all these people that I met, and the things that I saw. I sometimes saw it a little bit too much, probably from this, let's say, rock and roll world, but I'm still, I'm very thankful.
I'm really interested in how you started writing. Was it kind of a natural process as well, growing up in that world, or is it something that you gradually discovered?
No, I think through my dad being a musician, I always already like was able to watch and learn. But then when I was around 12, I started writing my first songs, and they were mainly about bullying, actually. Because school time was a rough time for a lot of people, I think. I'd say even like still like 1/3 of the songs I still play are still like the old songs are still about bullying. At some point I expressed myself and my frustration and just my pain of that through my songs. And then it's funny because I actually just recently, just like a year ago, I started writing love songs because I didn't want to do what people expect from a young woman, and because everybody thinks, oh, you just write love songs completely. So it started out no love songs, but now also, to be honest, love songs, it's just so therapeutic and amazing. And it's really healing, sharing your experiences and like other people like feeling the same, and like you can really reach people in a different way. And so it's been a long ride.
Damn, that's so interesting. I was wondering because you said a lot of these songs that you're still performing now, they come from like a very different time in your life when you were much younger. How does this like performing a song for so long on stage through these different life periods, how does that evolve?
That it's I always love when I notice the moment that the song is like a chapter of my life that I can put into my bookshelf and that I can open, and but that it doesn't trigger me anymore, and that it more empowers me of like I hope to like reach people who feel that way and to just inspire them. That's a big step. If I can like sing a song and I can perform it actually and smile during the show because I'm seeing friends in the audience or something, then that's like a huge step for me, that I know like, oh wow, it's a song, it's a story, but it's a memory, but I'm over. I'm
interested, kind of aside from the storytelling aspect of it, what it was like sort of musically finding your direction, because you mentioned you do some stuff, I guess kind of genre bending almost. There's like a very strong sort of punky garage rock element to it, but there's also like vocally there's some really interesting, very melodic things going on. How was that kind of journey for you?
So the funny thing is, so many friends of mine, they always rebel against the kind of music their parents listen to. But I actually, I just loved the music that I like. I was just sucking it up. For example, we would watch the Tammy Show, or like, or I'd see like recordings of the Ramones, or my dad would just show me so much that I think it's great that like I can't really define my music, because now I always say it's a wild mix of inspired by 60s garage rock and roll and garage punk, but also a little bit soul and a little tiny bit psychedelic maybe sometimes, or a tiny bit surf. It's such a big mixture of different things. But I think it started out also that I never wrote songs of like, I'm going to write a punk song. It was just the motion. If it's, let's say, if it's a more like letting it out and like, it turned into a punk song.
That's so interesting, because I've been to your shows a couple times and I absolutely love it. And you have such like great energetic performances. And I was just wondering what it was, like how you yourself relate to who you are when you perform. Like, do you feel like it's a different persona in a way? Are you channeling something on stage, or is it, because you've also like with growing up on stage so much, like are you comfortable with it, or is it like you're channeling something else and it's like a character almost that you're putting on?
I definitely like people that meet me as a person and then afterwards see my show or also see me perform my punk songs. They're often like, what? Like, whoa, that's different. I definitely wouldn't say I like set up a certain character, but through like the reactions of people or people telling me, because of course I've never seen myself on stage properly, but through people telling me how I seem to be on stage, I definitely notice it is a different character, or like a different part of me, I'd say probably. I think I feel more confident.
I want to talk a little bit about control. The name The Bizarre, I think, is something kind of outside of the sphere of maybe the controlled and the safe, which I think is a huge thing, I guess, in punk music on the whole, and rock music too, to some degree. I feel like a lot of your music is very raw. Like there's a lot of very kind of authentic, like big feelings, you know what I mean? But that's mixed with like, you clearly have like incredible control over your voice. You use it like another instrument. You kind of can you can make it growl and make it squeak and kind of sometimes break and tear, but also you have these really melodic parts. And I think I'm just interested, in what your relationship is to control and to giving up control.
Yeah. No, I'd say, to be honest, when I say freak out, I still always differentiate between that. Like if you come to our shows, I'm not going to smash a bottle and you won't be like dangerous. Some shows I go to the back because the front guy, he doesn't give a fuck. And he's like, one guy, he tried to smash a bottle and actually it didn't break. And I was so lucky. And then I got his guitar in my face almost. And then I was like, whoa, I'm going to the back. So that's the control that I think is irresponsible. Or like, I understand the people who think it's so cool, but like maybe they're in the third row and they're not like in danger actually. So when I say I freak out, I love rolling around on the floor a little bit, or like jumping into the audience and like interacting, and just like I love dancing, of course, and but I still have my limit of like I don't harm other people with me freaking out. So it's not like, so that's why it's like maybe it's not the craziest rock and roll freak out. I'm not going to spit beer on everyone, and I also understand the thrill of that. If people are like, if there's a little bit of risk or a little bit danger if you're in the front rows, or I don't know, but so I'd say it's still a friendly freak out.
I like a friendly freak out.
I love that. Just riffing off of what like Zoe was saying before, it's in so many like of your songs, like Delusions or like Inky Waters, you have like this really interesting like switch up between and like how it makes you feel in your body. That's kind of like what I noticed in being in the audience, because you have like these kind of freak out moments where you just kind of go wild, you kind of leave your body, you kind of like, or you're free, you're just like freaking out on the dance floor, and then you have you switch it up to this like slower, like sensual, like you kind of feel the bounce of your body a bit, and you like move, you're conscious of how you move it. And so I was wondering if considering the fact that you're also a dancer, like how movement, like if movement at all like shapes the way that you write songs or think about The songs, like from like the audience perspective as well, like how you want to make the audience feel or move in a way.
Yeah, that's a great question also. I'm sure it like subconsciously changed my songwriting or influenced it, because I love dynamic changes totally. I just love it. And yeah, and I love surprising the audience also. If there's a punk song but suddenly there's a super slow and like ooh part, like I love that, and it's so fun. And I used to do this, that the people should hold their hands, and it was so beautiful, and then they should like hold on to strangers' hands as well. And it was beautiful because a lot of times they would start dancing as like a huge unity and like interacting with each other, and it was beautiful. I don't know why I stopped doing that.
You should do that again.
Yeah, totally, because I think I wanted to have something new. That's why but that was actually, it was so beautiful, like seeing how they are also like they're feeling the movement like I am feeling. And I don't know, I wouldn't say I actively that's why, because of the dancing, that's why I have so much like dynamic changes. But I'm sure it like, yeah, it's subconsciously it's there too, because yeah, when I don't know, I love playing also in my dancing with dynamics and with different modes and different feelings and different energies, let's say. So yeah, I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
I love that image of like everyone in
The
the crowd
tentacles,
holding
like a big
hands,
octopus.
yeah, moving as like a big
Yes.
amoeba or something. It's great. I think like, I don't know, when I was when I was a teenager, I used to go to a lot of punk shows here.
Yes.
And I feel like there was always, especially the kind of smaller, more intimate ones, there was always this feeling of kind of like, this is like, I don't want to say safe space because that means something else now, but that's what it felt like, this like one tiny room and all of you are in there together and you're like kind of letting go. And this, it goes back to the control thing, but kind of it's a space where you can let go of what you would normally do. You can kind of like, run headfirst against each other and kick each other, and still at the same time, obviously you said there's some people that maybe take that too far, but it still always was sort of a caring space.
Totally.
And there was always this element, I think, exactly, specifically in the smaller shows of like work or like doing something together, experiencing something together. And I think it's, I think you should bring back the hand holding. I think that's a really beautiful, beautiful image.
No, the sweaty basement shows, they're the best.
Amazing.
They're the best. And also it's still such a community, because if somebody falls, like 5 or like 8 hands are going to lift that person up again. And like let's say the good kind of moshing of the we're community, and we can be free and we can like bump against each other, but it's like we're all like letting it out, but not in a like I'm actually like pushing you and to like hurt you. Like I don't know, it's a beautiful community thing. Also when you're like closer to the audience, it's such a good vibe. It's such a nice
is
vibe.
And it's almost this like letting out something that normally is like a violent impulse into something that feels so like so positive. It feels like very like ecstatic and exciting and not destructive somehow.
Totally.
And that's also really interesting with what you were talking about before, where you were saying like you channeled like experience of bullying and stuff in your song, and like that relationship to like rage, or the whole like the way that punk, like garage punk also channels like female rage and stuff like that. And like just where was I going with that? It's interesting how it becomes like a very different type of rage that's like empowering on stage.
It's also interesting because my sister Sabalu, you should check her out. No commercial, but yes commercial. So she also does music, and it's beautiful. It's just like wow, I still sometimes cry. So like she's amazing. And it's so funny in interviews of hers, she said that like she actually never had like the need of like just screaming or like fuck you, like letting out her anger or her pain through like, let's say, punk songs. She definitely does let's say softer music, beautiful vocal lines, beautiful melodies, amazing music. But it's so funny because I totally got that like I need like I don't know, the need to also like or process things with anger. I think also because in person, I do not really let out anger so much, or like I don't get like I more tend to get sad, but I don't really let out anger, or I don't really like get like I don't know like aggressive to people. So in my songs, that was like that's a way I can channel it, and like I don't know, it was like it's really for me it's really freeing to like scream it out and like like let the world know and like let other people like connect to that anger also as well. So yeah, it's so interesting that my sister just, she didn't have the need.
Is it like a cathartic thing afterwards?
It's
Do you feel like
beautiful.
you've let something go, or?
Yeah, it's like especially the Bumpy Road song, because for the beginning it was very emotional still, but even though it's a hopeful song, or it's like I don't know, at some point it felt so amazing just shouting it out and just like showing it to the world, and also letting people like into that experience, because as soon as you share it, it's like it hurts less, kind of. You've let it go to the world, you've shown your vulnerability. And now it's one of my favorite songs of the set to play, because it just, the energy's great, the whole band's freaking out, and like the people are dancing, and it makes me like, it really leaves me like, whew, I don't know. It's really nice.
I have this image. When we were younger, my brother used to have a punching bag that he hung up in the basement, and I mean, I did it too to some degree, but I feel like when those teenage hormones were raging, he would go downstairs and kind of just throw a couple of punches. And I have this image of you, like, I don't know if it's correct, but going to the studio, and it's like a similar kind of like release almost of like screaming into a microphone as like a way of letting that energy out, and it feels it feels amazing.
No, also if there's like a fucked up situation, and then I just grab my guitar and I like, just like, I love writing songs also because you really think about how are you going to explain it, or how you're going to let it out, and how you're going to like, what words are you actually going to use, because you also don't have so much time. You have like let's say around 3 minutes. I also love that songs can be so ominous, like, because there's so many different ways to think about the song and what it'll mean to you, and you like won't even know what it means to me. And I also love how anonymous that can be, that like that's hidden, even though you've shared it, and even though it's in the open and it's going to be released and everything. It's just like, it's still your journey and your path, and like some things are obvious, of course, but a lot of things are not, like, so it's a nice way.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because it's just like a prepackaged like emotion.
Yes.
For like 3 minutes. It's just like a feeling specifically. And it's not just like the words, it's also like the whole affect like around it. And that's why I think, just from an actor standpoint, like, it's so interesting to me that so many actors like just work with songs when they need to like do a specific scene. You like listen to 3 minutes of this emotion basically that this artist has like prepackaged for you, and then you like go into the scene with this energy, because it makes you like feel these things.
Yes.
Like specifically. I have so many questions, but like, I don't know. One that I wanted to maybe go back to is with this like releasing energy that is really interesting. Like, have you ever let that rage take over in the safe space while performing as well? And like, some of those screams, are they just like screams that you didn't plan to like scream in that moment, or is it usually like pre-calculated of when these freakouts are going to happen? Like, have you ever just like really let go of something like that and like changed what's going to happen on stage?
I think, to be honest, because what I was saying before, it's still like my freakouts are still controlled because I do not want to like get into anybody's safe space, or like I don't want to overstep any boundaries. And that's why I think if I would really freak out, or like I think I wouldn't perform a song that I actually haven't properly processed yet.
Yeah.
I think like, if I would just write a song like the one day and then show it to the band the next day and then perform it, it might like, it'll have so much more emotions and intensity in it. And I still don't think I would freak out in the way that like I'd overstep any boundaries, but I still like, I would not say that I lose control on stage, because it's still it's still part of my job also to like know what I'm doing, and like be aware of what I'm doing, because people are seeing it. Like, I'm like, I could like cause damage also. I don't know, like, if I would really freak out and just like, I don't know. So I actually would say I don't really completely lose control. I can like get lost in the moment more, and I can like feel I feel very free. And it's some songs, let's say, if I haven't processed them completely yet, I'll still feel sad, or like I'll still feel the emotion, but I wouldn't say I freak out and lose control in the way. But before, I wouldn't perform songs that I haven't dealt with properly. Yeah.
Can you summarize the octopus song quickly for us? I'm very interested.
So to be honest, it's funny, that song, I love octopuses or octopi. I'm actually not certain. Is it octopuses?
I think so.
Because I think for a long time I thought it was octopi, but now I figured out it was octopuses, right?
Well, my favorite thing, I don't know if I always gaslight people into this. I actually don't know if it's true, but I always like make eye contact and be like, it's octopuses, and I'm sure. I'm not sure.
My father told me it was octopi, so if
my
it's
mom
not,
told
I'm
me
gonna,
it was octopi, I think.
Gonna laugh.
But I think I have octopi plural, because I've googled this before and I remember this being like wrong. The current champion in the battle of troublesome pluralization is octopus, which depending on which dictionary is consulted may be written in 3 different ways: octopi, octopuses, and octopodes.
That's the most boring answer, which is everything is correct.
Should you say octopuses or octopi?
Right.
I'm going to go with octopi.
Octopi.
I think it's
sorry,
cool.
that was a digression.
No worries. So it's funny because actually Inky Waters is mainly just about like a story of it's about one partner says to the other partner that there's an ocean nearby and we can like go swim there tonight and there's blah blah and we'll dive into the sand like holding hands blah blah, and then the octopus comes, and actually I love octopi and I see them as super intelligent, amazing beings, and in my song I make it more as if it's a monster, if it's like a undersea monster. But that was just for the suspense. That was just for the, I don't know. And like also like that it can like wrap around your foot and it'll tear you down. And the song is more because it has exactly that dynamic that we were speaking of then. And then like, but don't worry, if we stay far enough, it won't reach us and blah, blah, blah. And the end of the song, I stopped saying this, but in the end of the song, I'd always say, but hey, we can also go to the pool if you want.
And in the performance, you guys will do octopus tentacles? Or?
Yeah, so I started this a while ago that I get 2 friends of mine to then, or 2 to 3 friends of mine that row up behind me, and then they do octopus arms. And before that, I have like this cardboard octopus that I made myself. I call them my octo wings. And then I take off my octo wings and then my octo babes replace my octo wings, and then so
it's iconic, it's incredible.
So I clearly love octopi, and I love also the energy of having so many amazing women on stage with me dancing, and like it's a lot of just like them being free and them having the chance to be on stage and having this energy, like such a party on stage kind of.
I love
so,
it. Where do we apply as octobabes?
Can we be your octobabes?
Totally. You can totally be my octobabes.
Time for the coffee report. There's a lot going on here. Literally, some cups have nothing, but this has so much. And then sometimes people ask me, do you look at the white figures or do you look at the brown figures? Yeah. Because there's both, and yours are very intertwining. Like there's the white figures show one thing, and then the same like margins form something else in the brown figures. That's a figure in itself though, and it's a different story. So there's a lot of things happening on like different planes. I don't want to like use the Star Trek metaphor so much, but it really feels like it's like different planes of like one universe, and they're like, it's almost like different, it's as if this was our world and we're like the brown people, and then the gaps between us that are like the white spaces are like exist amongst us, but we can't see them right now, but it's like it's very full, it's a very dense cup. And then so the top was like covered, right? And then the bottom, it has like this very clear line that we were talking about that's really clean. This like the break, that's, I've never seen such a clear kind of separation from the rim. But the bottom of the cup also has the same separation.
Interesting.
Which a lot of cups don't have as well. There's like this white line. And it really kind of means the bottom to me is like a fireball. It's like it's a fireball that's like cooking in the bottom, and it's kind of like a pressure cooker that like wants to like fully explode. But there's something on top that's been blocking it, so it can't like unleash its power or rage or something. But I don't feel like it necessarily wants to. It's not ready to yet because the mark is so clean.
Yeah.
It's very contained in like a safe way. It's like there's anger here and there's like pressure here, but it's contained. You're like, it doesn't need to explode when it's like not ready yet. And right now it's not. But there's a lot of power in the bottom of this cup that's just like waiting. And then there's a lot of figures that I'm going to get to, but these long figures here, I don't know if you can see. I see the figures are kind of very alien-like, so I don't know if these are Star Trek references. I don't know my characters yet. I have not like watched all. But it's like the forms are very alien-like, and the creatures that inhabit this world.
I saw a few of them, yeah.
They're very long. They're like long and slender, and they don't really have arms necessarily. They have long legs. They're like stretched out, like top to bottom, which I think is interesting because they're not quite connecting these two realms, but it feels like they've adapted their body to like try and form this connection. This like pressure. It's as if you're molding something, and like how much the pressure has like affected the way that they look, and it's molded them in a very specific way. It's been very like identity shaping, but also like their whole being, like the way they look, the way they walk, the way their body's shaped. There's this one kind of streak of images. So it's all kind of cyclical. It kind of gives like a candle that shows like a scene, and you turn it and the scene like continues. That's kind of what it is. It's like a momentaufnahme and like of this world that existing between these two poles. The brown parts of these image are like a family tree. There's like, when it's drawn, it looks like these specific branches, and then the branches, it's like a little podium, and then there's like the people's faces on the podium, and then there's like more people to the sides, and it's branching out. So it's giving a family tree, but in each of the places, it's people dancing. They're dancing like a waltz or a tango, and there's a bunch of them. Sorry, I want to show you, but you're kind of far away.
It's funny that you say tango and waltz, actually, because tango is one of my favorite dances, and waltz I don't like that much. So it's interesting that they're like exactly those two types of dancing.
I was just gonna say, it's kind of unconfirmed what relationship these people like have. Like they're clearly connected because they're holding hands and they're dancing around together. But if I can just show you in this one image, the one person is here. Oh, I knocked something over in your fortune. I'm so sorry. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm a professional. It's fine. I didn't change anything. Here is one person, and then the other person I'm dancing with is here. And in the middle, it's almost like a carrier in the middle. So it's like they're dancing together.
Like a carrier for like a body?
For
the body.
Okay.
They're dancing together, but in between them there's this distance of the carrier. There's like a missing body almost. There's like and it's like evoking the kind of death metaphor a bit of like it almost feels a bit futile. Like this dancing is not really like fully romantic dancing. I think it's dancing that's like longing for a connection and trying to fix something, and like really working hard on trying to fix something that's either missing or already dead, if that makes sense. That's like in between them. So, but there's a lot of like hopeful energy of trying to amend things, which is really beautiful to see because both sides are trying. Some of them work. It's not all futile. Like it's just I think what is in between these dancing people has been on your mind, if that makes sense. But there's a lot of work being put in from both sides, and then that image molds into the white stuff, which is like a whole other thing. And above it, that I find really interesting, it looks like the body of the Michelin Man, if you know what I mean, but without the head. It's a headless figure.
Yeah, I see him.
And then there's this whole trail kind of that goes off to the side, and it's like he's lost his head, and there's this big like cloak, almost like a red carpet that's like unfolded in front of him, and there's a bunch of figures on this that are trying to pick stuff up, and then the cloak kind of unfolds, and part of it goes up into a sort of wave-like form that could be another figure, but it blends into the hair of this one figure that's floating. it's almost like the head has like flown off with the hair and formed its own body, and then the people on the cloak are standing on the cloak to stop it. Oh yeah, actually Michelin Man, I'm like, but it's a space, this whole thing is very like space metaphor-y, so it looks like an astronaut suit instead of the Michelin Man looks like an astronaut body. Like that's what I mean. It's like an astronaut suit body. It's like the white with the specific, the rings and stuff like that. So this one is like, there's like this head that's like floating off into space, and there's people that are trying to collect it back but are also stepping on it. I think that's like the playing it safe, because I think the head, it's out of its comfort zone and it's like flying away, but I think it's also reaching for the stars, not to be too cringy, but it's like part of the metaphor. I think the head is not, it like looks a bit scared and like it's lost its footing, but I think it also is just wanting to explore something new.
I feel like I'm actually stepping on my own cloak or on my own hair. And like, because I overthink a lot, or I notice I'm very strict to myself. And so it's like, I don't know, also like the tango and the Wiener Waltz, for example, could be like, I have this, like sometimes I'm able to be very loving to myself, or like about myself, think good things about myself. Let's say for the tango characters, that free, creative, and like fun person that I can sometimes be to myself. But then the waltz, I remember I came out of a like more dancehall hip hop area, and then I went into the dance teacher course, and I was the only one who didn't do partner dance before, and I did like no social dancing before. And waltz was so hard for me because it's like your posture has to be perfect and your angles, and it's so fast, turning so fast. So my boss was super strict to me, and actually kind of mean, if I'm being honest. And that's why I then always was so nervous to dance waltz and so over criticizing myself on waltz. So it does like those like two people dancing and having also that distance. I think I'm really trying to find a balance of like, of course it's good to have like a certain, let's say, discipline to yourself and be strict to yourself in a little like in a balanced way, but the balance is definitely off a lot of the time. It's like I'm too strict and I like expect way too much, and then I feel like it's not good enough. It's not enough and not enough, and over analyzing, over criticizing myself. So it's interesting with those two dances also, and with that space in the between where there should be a body, and I think I want to become that body in the carrier in the middle part, because there's a body missing. And like I don't want to lose myself, like me checking in on what I'm doing, and I don't want to become overconfident and just think everything's genius. Like that's also not me. But I also want to really try to let go of that really strict, my therapist would call it the strict Amabelle inside of me, and I want to find a balance. So that's interesting.
But what's also really interesting, like hearing that, is like the big image of the dancers. That's definitely a tango. That's not a waltz. Great. So it's like a big tango amidst like a bunch of the tiny waltzes in the background, which is maybe, I don't know if that's like how you feel in the world or something. I'm dancing tango in a world of waltzes. Like that's kind of like the energy.
That's so Lord.
That's the energy that it's giving, but it is very much telling you to focus on
the beauty.
On the beauty and on like what brings joy versus the disciplined kind of dance, because there will be something, I guess, missing there. But that was that.